what was wrong until he basically woke up in the middle of the night and he was fussing and turning and it was dark. So we're just thinking, okay, what's up? Like, come on, get out of your bed. Just let us know what's going on. And it really caught us as a surprise when we came out of bed and his entire face was slow or was swollen. And I really mean swollen, like, his eyes were the size of ping pong balls, and his lips were just like really plumpy, and everything. It was like it's not pretty, and it really came out of nowhere because he usually does not get sick. So that came as a worry, but thankfully my wife, who's always got some pills and some pharmacy stuff hanging around. So she said, you know what, let's just give him some chewables, some Benadryl and some Advil to calm him down, which we did. But his tongue was swollen, his lips were swollen, his eyes were swollen, and it was really starting to worry because, as I said, this is not his regular MO. My son practically never gets sick. So he falls asleep in our bed, and we're just monitoring him and trying to decide, okay, do we find an all-night clinic? But hey, there are no all-night clinics in Montreal. So the next best thing is actually go to the emergency room. So that's what we did. And so basically, we decided to finally, okay, you know what? After an hour, even though he was falling asleep, but he was not improving. So we decided, okay, I'll take him to the hospital since we have two kids. So one of us has got to have to stay with the other one. We don't all have to go. So I grab him. I get dressed. I pick him up, drive him to the hospital, go to the ER, and just go through the motions of you know meeting the nurses and getting checked up, triage, and all that wonderful stuff. And lo and behold, a couple of tests, well, a lot of tests, a couple of tests and blood work, and he was fine. So we were basically at the hospital. I was with them from, say, 11 ish all the way to 4:35 ish when I came home. So long night, long night. But with God's grace, he's okay. So it was an unknown source for the allergies, and they did prescribe him some syrup, some allergy medicine, just in case. So that was cool. But that's was what happened during the stay, as I was in the waiting room, and he was just like sleeping on my shoulder and stuff, just like sleeping on my lap and stuff. And I'm like, I don't really feel tired. I don't really feel groggy or anything. I've got so much energy right now. I'm clear. I ask questions. I'm paying attention to anything around my surroundings. I'm seeing where the nurses are. If we're in the waiting room, I'm like, okay, I'm keeping an eye on the clock. Say, okay, how long have I been waiting here? Just keeping an eye on him, make sure that he's okay, talking to him, not keeping him up, but just make sure that he's, lucid and there's no other things going on just in case the doctor comes in and says, okay, any improvement? What's going on? So that really got me thinking, I think, earlier in the day as I basically replayed the event in my head. And I'm like, wait a second. I've been up, if you're taking the work day, I've been up since about 4:30. I had a full day's work at my job, you know, coming back home with everything that involves, handling kids. And that day my son usually has his swim class. So we went to swim class. So a full day with myself and my wife, right? And here I am. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel tired. I don't feel groggy in any way. I'm not yawning because every single fiber in my being is concerned with only one thing, and that's, my son's health, just making sure that he is okay. You know, I don't have anything else on my mind right now other than my son's health. I'm checking in with my wife. I'm sending her texts all the time. The grandparents, obviously, checking in as well. the family, everybody's making calls and checking in and checking in. And of course, I'm keeping everybody updated. But my mind is solely focused on, is he okay? Does he need to sleep? Are you hungry? You want some water? Hey, let's go for a walk. Okay, the doctor's going to come. I'm going to have to wake you up. Okay, get some rest. All that wonderful stuff. And I guess that's the message I wanted to share because I think it goes back to the fact that I was focused on my priority. My priority was my son's health, nothing else. I'm not thinking about my job. I'm not thinking about the parking meter. I'm not thinking about, okay, what I'm going to do tomorrow. Am I going to have to go to work or not? I'm not thinking about, what do we have toilet paper? I'm not thinking about what's on Netflix. I'm not thinking about the bank account. I'm not thinking about anything. But the only thing on my mind right now is my priority. Again, my son's health. It sounds basic, but it really came down to it. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror, as I did earlier this morning. And I thought of it. And I'm like, yo, we are so full of it. Anybody sitting here and talking about, yeah, this is important. Yeah, that matters. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's important to me. It's important to me. It's important to me. It's important to me. Is it though? Is it though? I'm really serious. For everything and anywhere and anyone who's ever caught themselves saying, this matters to me, this is important to me, losing weight is important to me, fixing my financial situation is important to me, having a very, stable and healthy relationship is important to me, raising wonderful kids is important to me, having a good job is important to me, just writing that book is important to me, writing that marathon is important to me, just growing my following on Instagram is important to me. But yeah, is it though? I'm dead serious. Look at yourself. And this is what got me riled up because I'm putting myself in that chair. I'm putting myself in front of that mirror. Here you are at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're full of energy, ready to go. Every single fiber of your being is wired towards this one goal, is making sure that your son's okay. Why can you not equate that to insert whatever goal that you want? So that's why I told myself we are so full of it. We are so full of it. We say we want things because it sounds nice, but are you ready and willing to actually put actions towards your goals? And I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that it's a fact. I look at myself and everything that you haven't achieved. Is it possible that it's because you have not made your priorities a priority? Again, I like to keep things basic for you guys. Have you made your priorities a priority? Or is Netflix too easy? Because guess what? Netflix doesn't ask you to turn it on. Okay? Your job does not own you, they have you on lease. Okay? I understand. We do have obligations, we have responsibilities. I am not telling you to shun your responsibilities. But if something is a priority, you need to make it so. And if none of your actions or connections or habits or routines are in any way aimed at pushing that needle ever so slightly forward, you are just full of it. I'm guilty of it as well. Because even when this podcast is concerned, okay, I realize if I'm spending more time trying to create reels or trying to make posts or posting on Twitter, screenshotting and reposting on Instagram, or trying to create, viral content. If I'm, Instagramming or Facebooking or TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, but you guys get the idea. If I'm doing more of that than actually producing podcasts, I'm not a podcaster. The podcast has become less of a priority. Yes, lack of motivation will happen and life does happen, but have you made a priority of this podcast? I had a friend earlier in the week who called me to thank me for helping him along his journey of podcasting. He's got a wonderful podcast, And, I'm definitely going to have him back on the show really soon, to talk about, his growth and how much his podcast has evolved. But he was very, very adamant in letting me know how important it was for me to know how I helped him along his journey. And I told him, yeah, I have no credit. I thank you and I receive your thanks. But I admire how you have made it a priority. Your consistency speaks for itself. So I don't want to hear it anymore from people because parallel to that, I've had, as I told him, I've had a lot of people come to me for podcast consulting. How do I have a podcast? How do I create a podcast? God, it's like I really want to start a podcast. I got the best idea ever, and it's gonna be the best podcast ever. I've got all the ideas, and all these ideas were wonderful. A lot of people have showed up to my spot and told me, "This is the idea I have for a podcast. That's a great idea. This is an idea I have for a podcast. That's a great idea. This is how we're gonna make it happen. This is how you need to make it happen. This is what you need to do. These are the steps." Crickets. Or maybe episode 1, but crickets. Have you made your priority a priority? Or does it just sound nice? You need to be accountable for the BS that you put out into the world because nobody's got time for that. So understand that I'm not just here to bash on you, but I am here to help you walk away with actionable steps and actual practicality because this was on my heart. Because a lot of us just are so quick to address anything and everything that prevents us from moving forward with whatever it is that we want. And there's so many, whether it's writing a book, losing weight, changing jobs, moving to another country. I've heard it all in so many facets. And I'm very big on accountability. And I said that in a prayer group recently where I realized I'm very impatient right now. I understand there is a process and I'm ready and willing to wait and let the process run its proper flow. But I also have to be very accountable to myself in the BS that I'm also putting out into the world. And if I'm not being true and genuine into my actions, habits, and routines, I only have myself to blame. Don't just don't put excuses as your reasons because they're very clear and far between. Everyone has excuses. Everyone has a reason. Everyone also has the same 24 hours. Are your priorities a priority? Have you written down your fucking goals? Are you putting actionable time towards making them happen? Who has done what you want to do, and have you connected with this person? Have you given yourself a timeline? Have you put a date on it? What does a completed version of that look like? Can you adjust? Have you put in the work towards getting the information? Have you iterated? Have you tried? How many times have you taken the chance to fail? Do you care? I mean, really, I'm letting the silence hang. Do you care? Or does it just sound nice? If you're finding me a little bit rough on this call, it's because it is on my heart, guys. It is on my heart. These are things that this is why you show up. This is why I make this podcast because I want you to realize I'm as real as you are. I'm as real as they come. And I will never show up here as a hypocrite. Being with my son at the hospital earlier this week showed me that there are things as a priority. You cannot in any way find a more driven, focused, and dedicated individual as I was in that waiting room by my son's side, just making sure that he's okay. Because that at that time was my priority. I came home at 5 a.m. ready to go, and I had a full workday ahead of me. But I hit the bed and I passed out because I had had a full 24 hours since I was up. I got home and I passed out for 2 hours. And I got up again, ready to go because he couldn't go to school. And I stayed the rest of the day with him, make sure that he was okay. So my priority is my fatherhood. My priority is my wife and my kids. That is, I guess, that you have to analyze your why, as Simon Sinek told. You should read that book, by the way. You need to figure out what it is that you want. Short term versus long term goals. And those are okay. Those can be malleable, but you need to have them. You can't just be a wandering generality. You can't just be wandering and meandering through life and just like, oh, I guess I could do this, or I guess I could do that. I can do this, I can do that. What do you want? I don't care if it's starting a bubblegum shack, or you want to travel around the world, or you just want to take walks around your neighborhood every day, or you just want to, I don't know, sell ice. I don't care if it matters to you, if it's not hurting your fellow man, and if it brings you fulfillment, then great, do that. But don't tell me it matters and then the next day or the next time or the worst thing, okay, if it matters to you and the next person shows up and tells you, "Oh, okay, let's do this." And yeah, but not right now. Yeah, not right now. Yeah, do we really have to do that right now? Well, yes, because I thought that was important to you. Wow, my car is really messy. Okay, let's bring it to the car wash. Let's grab a few trash bags and let's clear out the junk. Yeah, but we have to do that now? Well, yes, because I think you just said it matters to you. So that's the worst part. If you surround yourself with people who genuinely care and then they show up and keep you accountable, but then there you go with the excuses again. Yeah, maybe later. Yeah, next week. Yeah. Yeah, I thought yeah, but yeah, but it gets tiresome at some point. And sometimes you shouldn't be wondering why nobody buys into your bullshit anymore because maybe they've had enough of it. They've tired of being sold that BS over time. I say this from experience. I've been on both ends of that equation. And it's with this experience that I try to impart a certain knowledge onto you, trying to make you avoid those traps, both physical, mental, and otherwise, that have slowed me down. Your greatness is yours to have and to hold, and you are totally responsible for it. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Are your priorities a priority? That's the question you need to ask yourself and have a very dedicated, clear answer into. Otherwise, you are just BSing yourself. I'm sorry to curse at you, but sometimes we need that accountability. This is a real talk solo. It was on my heart. It felt like it had to be said because I hear it too much. It is too easy to just say what's on your mind, say what you care about, and do absolutely nothing. And I really mean do absolutely nothing in that regard. Okay, let's get a financial personal finance book. Let's meet with a coach. Let's not even hire a coach. Let's just hang around our friend who goes to the gym 7 days a week and say, hey, how do I get up? Because they know the basics. They've been there. And I can trust you. Anyone and everyone who's along a journey, everyone is willing to help because they know what it took to get to their level. And if you're genuine enough to actually have that humility to show up and ask for help, you'd be surprised how many people are ready and willing to. Just don't bring your BS along the way. That's all I got, guys. Thank you for checking in. I love you. I'm not angry with you, but I will hold you accountable in any day, in every way. I cherish you, I respect you, and I want to see you win. Make your priorities a priority. Turn off the Netflix, get off Instagram, get to work. Stay awesome.